religious cults. There should be a class on police brutality. There should be a class on apartheid. There should be a class on racism in America. There should be a class on why people are hungry, but they're not.
What's up, everybody? This is your man, P Solo, Prince Solomon back in the building. Let's get into it. Chance the Rapper, Starline, right at the gate. I'm going to say it right now. It is hip-hop's most politically relevant rap album this year. Now, this album has been on repeat since day one, the first time I heard it. You know, when I'm speaking about political relevance, you know, when we think about that, that used to go hand in hand in hip hop. Now it's largely evaded. Sure, we have wonderful lyricists, Kendrick Lamar, the Clips, you know, we can go down the list. Jid did a terrific job on his album too, by the way. Shouts out to the 404. But when I'm thinking about political relevancy and I move past just simply the artistic noir of the craft, somebody that's just being a very ambidextrous lyricist, right? Just lyrical dexterity. And I think about messages, messaging, and politics. You can really say, to be honest with you, as much as people like to complain and they say, well, you know, it's dry in lyrics right now, that's not necessarily the case. But when it comes to political messaging, hip-hop is looking like the Mojave Desert.
After a vicious campaign which lasted 7 long years, the Scorpion King and his army were defeated.
You know, and it took me some time to figure out, why did I keep coming back to Starline? Why do I keep coming back to this album? Why do I keep coming back to Starline? I mean, Chance doesn't even have the number 3 on his hat right now. But to be honest with you, I said political relevance. Now, am I asking every MC to run around here and be M1 and Stickman from Dead Prez? No. Legendary duo, but you don't have to be that. But if you really think about it within hip hop right now, rap music, bars, or just being a very astute lyricist, what is the political messaging of today? You can argue that hip hop, especially with the current time and given what hip hop was founded on, especially what was going on with black people, black Americans. I mean, we're coming off the back end of James Brown's I'm Black and I'm Proud. You could think that hip hop is operating as a rogue planet, completely detached from any social relevant issues. One of the things I found inspiring about the Starline album is that Chance the Rapper unapologetically reiterates these themes throughout his album. One of the themes that you typically come across with the Starline album is this idea of community. Now, is there a hip-hop community? Yes, albeit though it's a little detached. And a lot of times, hip-hop, rap music, it finds itself is almost no more than a collection of fan bases and stan bases, which is not necessarily good for the art form. Let's move it past the word genre, because, you know, when we keep speaking about genre, then it's denoted comfortably to these spaces of fandom and standom. If we're talking about the art form or even just simply a lifestyle, you have to bring in the element of community. And one of the things Chance the Rapper has reiterated over and over and over and over with Starline is not only being proud to be from his community, missing the parts of his community that is withering away like he did eloquently on the track No More Old Men, but it is also highlighting the importance of community. So even if you're talking about Drapetomania with Baby Chief, even his verse talking about fuck ICE.
I got no time to say. Fuck ICE.
No, listening to it, I said, man, that is crazy. This used to be a very common presence within hip hop. In fact, I recall when Trump was elected the first time around, we got a little bit of that energy with the late great Nipsey Hussle when he said fuck Donald Trump.
Hey, let me know.
Donald Trump is a chump, know how we feel, punk. Electoral votes look like memorial votes.
Snoop Dogg initially was on that train with the track Lavender, and he kind of made some news about it where it looked like he was doing a mock assassination of then elected President Donald Trump.
The reparations what we took it for all of the shit that you motherfuckers done did. Motherfuckers, trip this.
Fast forward today, at the beginning of this administration and the second term for Donald Trump, you know, Snoop Dogg is proudly leading the crypto ball. Look, I mean, these rappers have their own political affiliations, personal opinion, but I can't help it but think about, as an art form, I do miss those messages when artists that disagree what was going on politically, they spoke about it. Hell, even Eminem, for all of the critiques he's gotten over his career, he even did mosh. In fact, I think the record labels had to hold it up. We saw it on the back end with Lupe Fiasco. That's really what jammed up his career by and large. And so from that point on, moving past Immortal Technique, Dead Press, Paris. You even had a bit of a resurgence of Professor Griff around that time. Cannabis was speaking on a lot of these issues. This was all up under the Bush administration. We moved on forward a little bit, and you just don't really hear much of any of these things. I mean, I can even argue just in the cultural visibility, things are overtly blatant that you would have typically seen Tupacalypse Now era Tupac cut up. You would have usually seen Wise Intelligent and the Poor Righteous Teachers cut up. And some of the criticisms that was aimed at the government, it wasn't simply just a left and right wing situation like we are very fixated on today, but even under George Bush, you had criticisms from even those that were involved in gangster rap. They talked about what was going on in politics. And then even under Bill Clinton, you had legendary duos such as Havoc and Prodigy of Mobb Deep address the prison industrial complex and its ramping up under the Clinton administration. What I'm saying is that it didn't matter what sector of the government was actually acting up, especially concerning black people. You usually typically had an MC or several MCs, several rappers say something. This era is the Mojave Desert when it concerns that. Most of these people, yes, they can rhyme well, they can rap well. Yes, they're talking about who is hip hop and who isn't hip hop, but that political charged messaging is absolutely missing. One could argue at possibly one of the more aggressive times in our lifetimes politically. Yes, there was 9/11, there was the Patriot Act 1 and 2, there was the Bush administration, you had Karl Rove, you had Donald Rumsfeld, you even had Condoleezza Rice at the time, but you still had artists and MCs within hip-hop challenge their political ideology. For that, I give this to Chance the Rapper. My personal opinion, I think he has the most politically relevant album right now. Whether it was his verse on Drapetomania or what he talked about on No More Old Men, or even just addressing the Negro problem. If you hadn't had a chance to take a look into it, by W.E.B. Du Bois and Paul Dunbar. And of course, it was edited by the OG himself, Booker T. Washington. Listen, the reason why I give this definitely the award for hip hop's most relevant album right now, if you go further into the beautiful track of the Negro problem, he even addresses black maternity health and the disparities that face black women when it comes to the medical system. Again, this is what I'm talking about being culturally detached and spiritually detached from your community. Yes, there are wonderful lyricists, but my personal opinion, more than ever, rap music and hip hop is spiritually disconnected from the black community. It just is. You have a lot of MCs and a lot of artists that they seem to operate in a vacuum adjacent of the black community. And that's not necessarily what Chance the Rapper is doing on Starline. He's definitely putting it front and forward position, and he is unapologetically making it the theme of his album. And he has done so for some years, but I actually feel Starline is hands down his classic. I do feel hands down it is his best album. Hopefully, we'll begin to see more of this energy from other people as well, especially these times, because I'm going to tell you something, the way things continue to go and where they're headed, also politically, people can only have escapism for so much. I even think to some degree the aspect or the auspice of stand-up. There's a lot of times it's people looking for escapism and they're not wanting to have to deal with what they're currently seeing politically a lot of the times, or do they even know how? That's why it's very important to maintain hip-hop as an art form as well, not just simply the genre or rap or a genre called hip-hop, but the art form of hip-hop. And the reason why, you're going to get everything in there: spirituality, the soul, you're going to get community. And this is what Chance the Rapper has been speaking about continuously, and he does it very well on Starline. So I do feel it is the most politically relevant album that has been released this year. I don't know how much of an award does that mean for anybody, but I definitely put my stamp on it. And I'm very, very happy that the album was able to drop this year. I think it is his classic. I'm your man, P Solo, Prince Solomon. Drop your comments below. Tell me some of you all's favorite politically charged albums, or albums that have a political messaging on there as well. I am out. Peace.
Honestly, just like the brother, I believe it was JT, the bigger figure, who said that the label executives came to him and said, "Yo, brother, we need you talking about guns and whores." You know what I mean? That's right. That happens. I've been in those meetings with management and had to ask me, is what you're saying really what you believe, so that we'll know how to market you properly? You know what I mean? This happens. Young Buck, on his album, he has a song on his album that talks about police terrorism. The label said absolutely not. Jimmy Iovine said absolutely not. You cannot put that record on the album because it might create an atmosphere that might put police officers' lives in danger.
To this day, to this day.
You shouldn't turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge?
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Black folks are nosy. They have specials. Nosy specials. Why does a bee make honey? You ain't a bee. Why do you give a fuck?